Yo, how's it going? Welcome to another exciting episode of Kayal Podcast Home. I'm Matt. It's been a long week. It's been a productive week. Where should I start at? I watched the second episode of Black Lightning this week, and it was good. Because you can't always go by the first episode, because if you go by the first episode, you're going by the pilot budget, and it's not necessarily a sign that that's what you're going to see going forward in every episode, maybe the finale or the mid-season finale. Black Lightning is going to be a family show, but I'm not saying like it's like let's everyone watch it together. It's got some topical elements. It deals with being African American. It deals with having powers and how people view it. The first episode, the premiere, you understood that the guy's ex-wife didn't want him to be a hero, and then the second episode, you understand why. She viewed it as an addiction to his superpowers. And I think this is the other guy was like, well, look what happened when he didn't use his superpowers. Like, everything turned to shit. So, in terms of where the truth is going to be, it's going to be somewhere in the middle. And we're going to see it play out again, because there's a second superpowered character, one of which is emerging in the show, and how the superpowers are dealt with, like whether it's like an addiction or because my stance on how that would go is adrenaline is something that you can get hooked on, not necessarily let's see. When it comes to adrenaline, you're getting the rush, and you're getting endorphins, and if you get into fights, you're like, say your body gets hurt, your body produces endorphins that make you feel better. So adrenaline with like the fighting, and like, I don't even know how to quantify the feeling you would get from shooting lightning bolts out of your hands. That is a compelling argument that it is something you can be addicted to, but yeah, it's going to be interesting. I'm looking forward to episode 3 next week. The Flash is doing Elongated Man, and Elongated Man is fun, but I'm waiting for Sue to be introduced to the show, because that was my introduction to Elongated Man was the worst introduction you could possibly have to Elongated Man, in that Identity Crisis was my introduction to that, and this is no spoilers here. The first issue of Identity Crisis is Elongated Man losing his wife. So I'm very much like invested in the characters, because after Identity Crisis, I think 52, he was one of the main characters. I'm not entirely sure if he was a main character or if he was like a piece of the ensemble. I know he was definitely in it, and 52 was fun because you had like 5 writers and like I don't even know how many artists on top of their game, with covers by J.G. Jones, I think. Yeah, I always get J.G. Jones and J.H. Williams mixed up. I want to say it was J.G. Jones. Yeah, it was definitely J.G. Jones. So the Flash is good right now. I really like the Goldberg appearance in that one. It's always fun seeing professional wrestlers that you know and love showing up on TV. What else did I watch this week? I don't want to say my fellow YouTubers, because saying my fellow YouTubers makes it sound like I'm on their level, and I'm not. Like, just because I'm in the same arena does not make me the same quality, and it does not make me the same I don't know, draw. But then again, whether I'm right or wrong has nothing to do with my subscribers, which, by the way, when the hell am I going to get more of those subscribers? What the hell do I have to do? Like, I've been banging drums up and down the street, like, saying subscribe. Well, anyway, if you want to have fun, look at everyone's old YouTube. Like, go to their upload section and then just put oldest first and just see what they were working on before they got really good and figure shit out, or spent some money, or it's a uplifting experience, because you get to see the future in that sense. If you discover their old stuff and say, hey, what are they doing now? It's like, holy shit, they stuck with it, they got good. That's what I'm looking forward to. So, once Kayal Podcast Home is over, which, I don't know, I could do this for, I'm planning to do this for a year, and after that, maybe I get a green screen. Maybe, like, I have to look into Twitch, because I do play video games, and I could stream that. I can, like, I'm looking into a Patreon, because I've done Kickstarters before, and, like, I'm afraid of failing another Kickstarter, because I've, like, your resume of Kickstarters, even though it's very hard, shows. When people say, how many Kickstarters has this person done? Oh, he's done one successful one. Out of how many? 4. Oh shit, that's a 250 batting average. It's like, and what's he trying to get? Oh fuck, those are horrible. Yeah, like, I believe in the products, but my ability to do Kickstarters is flawed. And it's not that, like, you have to work as hard building it as you do promoting it, and it's 2 different jobs. Building it is, alright, product, explain everything, go. Promoting it is not having no shame, but as close to no shame as possible, in terms of, hey, I have this thing going, do you want to check it out? Are you interested? And, like, there are people out there that, like, have the innate ability to just get in people's faces, and through a smile and a twist of the hand, get them to give you money. And I don't have that. I just have, like, my sincere, genuine affection and belief in myself that I kind of undercut, because I will be less than positive. I will be self-deprecating, whatever the hell the depreciation conjugation is. So, my fellow YouTubers, like, I'm always happy to see Lewis Stardust put out a video. She did one on tattoos, which I'm going to be getting one in a couple weeks. Like, I'll post more on that when it happens. But her videos are always fun, because, like, just the music choices that she does alone are uplifting. I mean, just, like, brightens up your day. Watched Gigook's videos and a couple of his, and some Red Letter Media's. I'm not hooked, but as a writer, I'm trying to become aware of other people's, like, criticisms of film, and it, like, while it doesn't apply, like, certain things in the media that you're doing, like, certain things translate, but certain things don't. Like, when you're watching a film, you're seeing, like they made they were reviewing a Tarantino movie, and Tarantino basically said that you're not watching something that's moving, you're watching something that's implied movement. You're watching like a photo followed by another photo followed by another photo with sound attached to it, so it looks like movement. But the funniest thing was in that interview clip where the guy interviewing was like this 80-year-old guy. He was just aging in front of your face, falling asleep, like mouth open. So that was that's what film is. So when you're watching a movie, you get a continuous amount of information fed to you. Comics, on the other hand, are a passive. Film is passive. Comics are aggressive. Like, as a reader, you have to progress through like each page. You have to look at each panel, and if you just scan things, you're going to miss things. With comics, the rule is if you can read it and if you can see it, it probably it can be used. One of my favorite authors is Kristen Goodsnook. She did a comic called Hench Girl. Really good. And with me, I love things that I can't predict. And she did unpredictable stuff. And she would have these gags at the end of each book, and there would be setups to them inside the book. So some throwaway note card in the bottom, or a newspaper clipping at the bottom of a page turned into a gag, and stuff like that. Like, that's like intermediate like world building. That's good storytelling in terms of like rewarding the people that really look at what you're doing and observe what, like, the small details. So anyway, what I've come to observe is, like, when it comes to YouTube and when it comes to Twitter, there's social media wars going on. And I'm not saying war as in like this side attacks this side and that side attacks that side, but we live in a society right now where people are not open to criticism because what they believe is true, and if you don't believe it is true, then you must be a monster. Now, this ranges a whole bunch of things, and this is not an absolute statement, but it all depends on your perspective. And people are going to be like, oh, that's relativism. It's like, well, unfortunately, the color gray does exist. Sorry, but you have to understand that not everything is black and white. There's an in-between, and some things are closer to white, some things are closer to black. So the only absolute statement I've ever been comfortable making is that there are absolute statements. So you see, like, some of the things I've been into is like reading like Twitter, and my Twitter feed. Everyone complains about Instagram being like popularity based and not chronological like it used to be, and I hate that. I really hate that I don't see the stuff that my the people I follow, like, I'll see things from them the day after, or it's turning into goddamn Facebook. Facebook, if it's not in like most recent, I don't bother with that shit because it's always the same goddamn articles, or it's the same goddamn posts. Hey, look, everybody, this person's getting married. And that post is a month old. It's just been getting likes for the past fucking month. So, like, congratulations, by the way. So, with Twitter, my feed has become bloated with people that I do not follow, and so the people that I follow, like, I'm following them because they think different than me, or they do things that I'm interested in. like comics artists, comics writers, people that think differently than me, good comedians, some bad comedians, like same thing with comics artists. Like there's some good artists I follow that I'm happy to see some of them post work. And here's the thing, you're allowed to have an opinion. I'm not calling people out on having an opinion. Like, I followed you because you have an opinion, you actually say shit. You're not a bot that just promotes, no, do you ever realize that you don't know if you're following a human or not? It's like, this person does nothing but retweet. Like, this is what a bot would normally do, and I can't tell if they are a bot or not. So, in social media, you'll get these people that are very dedicated to thinking one way. Meanwhile, there are people on YouTube that will criticize them and completely dismiss everything about them, which this is interesting to watch. Like, the salt alone of one person just dismissing everything that they do, but having an argument, and the other person being, well, it's nice that you think that way. Like, very progressive in terms of social stances, which I can respect. I mean, that's your opinion, that's what you believe. But when you get to the point where it's like, well, this person's clearly like a bigot and a racist, and because they dismiss all of our work and dismiss what we are, the drama ensues. And like a buddy of mine earlier, like a year and a half ago, like gave me a new way to think about things, and I've been enjoying the hell out of it. Become a salt aficionado. Like, every time someone gets salty, just appreciate the flavor of it. Because what harm does it do you? What harm? This person believes this. Okay. They have no power whatsoever about my life, for the most part. They believe it. Okay, they said it. And then you get the people out there that's like, well, we gotta get rid of them. What do you mean we gotta get rid of them? It's like they can't have like a platform to say all that stuff. It's like, yeah, they kind of do. The one thing that I always find interesting is that whenever someone does something and they don't agree with them, they always go after art. Like, that's always like the first place. We don't agree with you. You can't make art. Like, you can't have an expression. It's like, okay, that's censorship. No, it's not. It's like, we're doing it for the good of the people. No, that's censorship. That's pretty much, you do not want me to have an opinion, so because you don't agree with it. That's censorship. Meanwhile, the people that I can have that conversation about is Nazis, white supremacists, people that want to fuck kids, and I really want to tell them to shut the fuck up, but I can say that as a criticism. However, they have, like, with limitations, a right to speak their minds. Now, what people forget is the First Amendment only protects you so much. The best line I can think of is like, your right to swing your fist ends where my nose begins. So, like, you can't, in America, you can't incite violence with speech. Like, you can't say fire in a movie theater. There's certain rules against that, but people are like, well, they have a distasteful opinion, like that woman at the Berkeley protest, or the Berkeley protest in general. I don't know who trashed that area, because one person was speaking. I know that whoever was speaking that day, I want to say it was Milo Yiannopoulos or whatever. I know they thrive on controversy. The more polarizing they are, the more followers they get, because there's a certain number of people that'll follow you that are contrarians. Like, they see how many people they have on the other side. It's like, well, clearly, screw them. We're with you. But we don't care about you. We're just here to, like, piss people off. So, it's... all I want to say is, we live in a society that is using the same source code as professional wrestling, and we're kind of taking out the fact that professional wrestlers, more or less, are okay with each other. I'm not saying they're all best friends behind the scenes, but like, some people are taking this a little too far, and unfortunately it's about things that really affect them, so they don't think they're going far enough because they care about the things that they do. So I'm really glad I have no subscribers right now, so no one can see this goddamn video. But anyway, ways I've been busy this week. I submitted an outline to a comics group, collective. I spoke with the editor-in-chief. They were interested in what I had to say, and they're looking into it. I'm hoping to find an artist through them and hoping they can publish it. I've had dealings with these guys before. I've known them for several years now. I'm enthusiastic. I'm hopeful. The other thing, I've been talking to past couple weeks, Comic Jam. The Comic Jam is an Instagram group. I don't know exactly where they put out their stuff, but I see their work on Instagram all the time. Basically, they're an art writing collective, and each week they put out themed comics. I'm really looking forward to working with these guys. I've been following their stuff for a while now. I'm just waiting for an opening, and like, if you guys want to check out like really varied comics, like, there's been a couple of very topical issues like they've covered, but they've also like done really fun stuff. Comic Jam on Instagram. All right, Shield Lad. I have 4 things done for it. The first one I'm gonna have to rewrite because I don't like it's the prologue. It sets up the story, so it can be written differently, but I don't like that it's written so like high school writing prompt. Like, I'm telling the audience everything, but I'm not like organically showing it to them. But I don't want to go too into detail because it's the prologue. I want to kick in like the writing style with the first chapter, but it's like I have to find like I have to go in deeper like depth, like I'm trying to establish depth of character and like tone, and it's very hard to do that with one sentence. Like, you have to invest more in the way you're doing things. So there's that. I noticed the other day that it's been 3 months since I've done a check the technique, so that's going to be my next big thing. Check the technique. I'm going to do, if there's any books that you guys want me to like find, or artists like their work, like, I will tell you their strengths, like, as I see them. Things that, because Check the Technique was born out of a project I have going on right now on how to write comics, or how to make comics. And with how to make comics, like, I'm using Check the Technique and I'm using pro tips, which are also on my channel, by the way. So if you guys want like 30-second tips from professionals, like real quick, like words of encouragement, or how to, like things I wish I knew. And there's also Check the Technique, which is like, if you guys want to like think about storytelling techniques, that here's the thing: if you swipe the tools, the techniques, it's not swiping. Like, as long as you apply them to your own story, if you don't lift the don't wholesale lift a like a story element or a plot element, because if you don't use them, like the craft suffers. If we are like, wow, that person like owns that technique, like, no, they don't. Like, they own the characters, they own the stories, they do not own the techniques. You can use those techniques. It's like everyone has their way of throwing a punch. It's like no one owns punching. So all right, my goals for the week, over the weekend, come Monday, I want to have 2 more chapters of Shield Lad. I gotta follow up with the 2 groups I just mentioned just now, and oh shit, I really think, motherfucker. I just realized the fucking phone was going downwards this entire time. Okay. Peace.